Hi, welcome back. Today is Throwback Thursday, but I'm gonna do my very first book haul. I love watching book haul videos, but I was always like, I work in a library, so the idea of going to like Barnes & Noble and buying books for like the full price, I'm just like, that's so much money. I don't have a lot of money. I do like when people go to the library and do library book hauls, but I just got back from our annual Texas Library Association conference, and I scored not one, but 2 bags of books, and we're gonna go through them really quick. Some of these I paid for, some of these were given away by the publisher, and most of them are signed. I didn't look through these again before this, so here we go. This is Quantum and Woody, the world's worst superhero team, which is from the Valiant publishers. It was up for a bunch of Harvey nominations last year, and I read this actually on the car ride home. I wasn't driving, so it's okay. And it was hilarious. A bunch of these, the good people over at Publisher Spotlight, who I'll put a link to them down below, they gave me a whole bunch for the Maverick Committee, and I was so sad that I can't nominate this one because it came out in 2013. And I can only nominate 2014 and 2015 titles, but you should definitely give this one a try. Quantum and Woody are foster brothers, and their father is killed, and they've been estranged for a while, so they get back together begrudgingly to figure out why he died. And something happens to them, and they get special powers. This one I was so excited for when Stacy gave this to me, because it is a Katamari. This is from Udon imprint, and they made a webcomic of Katamari, and then they published them all together. So if you've ever played Katamari, and if you haven't, you need to. You're a little star prince, and your dad is the king of the universe, and you are trying to... Do you screw something up and you're like, is this like your punishment? I don't remember the whole story.
I don't know the storyline.
You're rolling things together to make stars and planets and stuff. And so you're just like rolling and you're picking up everything. And as you get bigger, you can pick up bigger things. So like at first you can only pick up bushes, and then you can pick up cows, and then you can pick up trees, and then you can pick up cranes and crazy stuff. So, but my favorite part is before you start each thing, the king of the universe is like telling you things, and he's like really snarky. So I'm really excited to read this one because of all the snark. These next bunch are all from Publisher Spotlight, and Ellen and Stacy there, who are awesome. Thanks, ladies. So this next one is Maddie Kettle, The Adventure of the Thimblewitch. This is by Eric Orchard, and Maddie's parents get cursed by the Thimblewitch, and they get turned into rats or mice or something, and so she is trying to figure out, trying to find the Thimblewitch and turn them back, and she makes some friends who are a raccoon and a bear, I think, and there's like a cloud city, and they're like floating around, and she has a pet frog who's with her too. And I opened it up, and they were telling me that she had a pet frog, and she was in a hot air balloon. I was like, oh my gosh, is the pet frog, can it turn into the hot air balloon? And she was like, no, it's a frog. But she didn't tell me it was a magic frog, so I think that it was a logical leap. The next one is Rocket Girl by Brandon Montclair and Amy Reeder, and I don't know anything about this, but there is a Gail Simone blurb on the back, so it's gonna be awesome. Also, her hair is so cool, and she has freckles. I have freckles. We're the same. And this is Ted Naife's, I might be saying that wrong, Princess Ugg. This is volume 1. This is from Oni Press, and it's already been nominated for this year's Maverick list, so I'm looking forward to reading it as well. I got the special only arc that they had of this, and it's In Search of Lost Time, Swan's Way. Somebody decided to make a graphic novel of Proust. So I'm really looking forward to this because I've never actually read Proust, and I just love that somebody was like, that's what I'm going to tackle. I'm going to write a graphic novel of Proust. So this is an adaptation in drawings by, oh gosh, it's French. It looks like Stephanie, but without an I, and there's an accent over the E, and then Huet, H-E-U-E-T, I don't know. And this is translated by Arthur Goldhammer, which is an awesome name. So it says, purist and literary aesthetes beware, In Search of Lost Time is finally rendered in graphic novel form, just as Proust never intended. I'm really excited to see what that's going to be like. I also got March book 2, and you hopefully watch my video of March book 1. And yeah, I'm so psyched to keep reading and find out more of John Lewis's story. That's by John Lewis, Andrew Aiden, and all of the illustrations are by Nate Powell, who's so great. Nate Powell. This is Robert Moses, The Builder of New York City, by Pierre Christian and Olivier Balez. And this is from Nobrow Press. And you can't feel this book, but it's a really cool feeling. Lisa, you can feel the book.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's really neat. And it's the architect, Robert Moses, and the art is so nice, so nice. I also like the text, the font of the text. Sometimes they're pretty, but it's hard to read, but this, I think, is going to be nice and clear. Got my cape, my Maverick cape. I'm the new chair, Maverick Committee. This one's really cute. This is Attack Boss Cheat Code, A Gamer's Alphabet. It's by Chris Barton and Joey Spioto. It's signed by the author, Chris Barton, and it was really funny when I went up to get this book signed. He asked if I knew Jen Haight, and I said, I do. She dyes my hair. And Jen Haight is my friend, who's also a librarian, and she dyes my hair, and her entire head of hair is rainbow. So people are usually like, oh, hey, do you know that person? I'm like, why, yes. Yes, I do. This is really fun. It's an alphabet book for children, and all the letters are game related. So A is for attack, and it explains what each of the terms is. So B is for boss, the big bad leader of the bad guys, the last enemy you've got to beat in battle before you can advance to the next level or win the whole game. They show different styles of games and stuff. And there are a few ladies in there too. So that's very exciting. This one I was really excited about, like, I'm trying to think if I was like more excited than it merited, but I think that you should be excited that these things are being covered in excellent ways. But I was like, oh yes, the migrant worker strikes. And maybe that's, you know, this is called Strike, The Farm Workers Fight for Their Rights by Larry Dane Brimner. And it looks, so far, I just glanced through it, like really well researched. Excellent primary source material, but great photos and quotes, and it's bilingual in a lot of places. And I just opened it up, and I did not realize that there was a large Filipino migrant community, and they were the ones who initially wanted to strike. And Cesar Chavez didn't want to strike with them for whatever reason. I don't know if it was they were Filipino and like Mexicans and Central Americans or what. So I need to read it to let you know more. I'm really excited about that. You don't read a lot about the Filipino American community in history books. So I'm really psyched about that because I have a lot of Filipino friends and I consider myself Filipino. I don't consider myself Filipino, but I kind of do. These are a present I got because I did a panel called Teen and Tween Programming, Walking the Tightrope of Budgeting, and they give us little prizes, and they're postcards, and they look like card catalog cards for different books. So I've got Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes, which means they know me really well. The Hunger Games by Susan Collins, Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and there was another one that hopefully I'll find in a minute because it got signed by the author, because she was there. This one I didn't even know was going to be available yet, but Maggie Stiefvater tweeted or retweeted Scholastic's tweet about having it at a booth there, so I ran over. And this is Pip Bartlett's Guide to Magical Creatures by Jackson Pierce and Maggie Stiefvater. Maggie did all of the illustrations. There's a little past. Lots of fantastical creatures, and I don't know. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what this book's about yet, but it's by Maggie, and she's been talking about it forever, and I trust that it's going to be awesome because it's Maggie Stiefvater. So
Maggie Stiefvater is an auto-buy author.
Yes. I was like, no, this isn't an autobiography. Her Twitter is an auto-buy. Yes, Maggie Stiefvater is an auto-buy or auto-put on hold author, if you were me. Another auto-buy, auto-put on hold author, David Levithan. Hold Me Closer, Tiny Cooper. This is the musical novel by David Levithan, which is the companion to Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. And in Will Grayson, the character Tiny Cooper writes and stars in his own musical. And this is the musical in like script musical format. And my copy is signed. Oh. So exciting. And then when I was getting this signed, my friend Jen, who also has rainbow hair, was like, can we take a picture with you, David Levithan? We'll surround you in rainbows. And so we surrounded David Levithan in rainbows. And it was awesome. And I also got Boy Meets Boy signed, which I haven't read yet. And I know, okay, so Lisa's making the face that everyone in the line made when I said, I don't know which one to get, but I haven't read Boy Meets Boy. And then Jen shamed me in front of David Levithan, told him that I hadn't read this book. So, thanks. This is a advanced reading copy. I don't think it's the full story, but it's Baba Yaga's assistant. It's by Marika Mikula, and it's illustrated by Emily Carroll, who wrote In the Woods, which you need to read if you like scary things. It's a graphic novel collection of like short stories, and they are all freaking terrifying. And she drew and wrote them, and these are her illustrations. So, they're all in black and white. I gave it to Michael, and he read it. He like took it home. And he like came back and he was like, I read it at night. It was so scary. You remember Michael. He was a redheaded kid from the last video we did. Another little advanced copy that I got was Honor Girl by Maggie Thrash. This is a graphic memoir, and it's about a girl's first time at sleepaway camp. And apparently she falls in love and gets her heart broken all in the same summer. And it's an all-girl camp. This one's been all over Tumblr and everywhere. Vivian Apple at the End of the World by Katie Coyle. We already have it at work, but I was super psyched to get my own copy and get it signed. Basically, the rapture has happened. Vivian Apple doesn't believe in the rapture and people being taken and other people being left behind, but now lots of people around the world are missing, including her parents. And so she's traveling to try to get answers to what's happened and things like that. And there's an epic road trip and a cute boy. So, another one that's been out for a little while, but I haven't gotten around to reading yet, is Jane by April Lindner. This is a modern retelling of Jane Eyre, where Mr. Rochester is a rock star and Jane is a nanny. She also has Catherine, which is her take on Wuthering Heights, and her new one is called Love Lucy, which is A Room with a View. Those are newer. I really just care about Jane Eyre. Scarlet Undercover. So this is by Jennifer Latham, and I saw this on Tumblr, and it looked so good. She's a detective. I love smart girl PIs, so I don't know much about it beyond that. Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. This is an arc of this as well. I don't know what it's about, but the cover, you guys. Look at this cover! Look at it! Oh god, it's so beautiful. Hang on, I'm gonna find out who did this cover art.
I feel like that is a representation of you. Like, I think that's what your autobiography cover would look like.
Oh, this is my life. Cow skulls and human skulls and pretty pearl-handled guns.
I just feel like it's very...
Vengeance. This one I'm also really excited about. I got from the same publisher. This is When Mischief Came to Town by Katrina Nanestad. This, immediately I was like, this looks like Pippi Longstocking. And then I turned it over and it says, in the tradition of Anne of Green Gables and Pippi Longstocking. Do I know book covers? I know book covers. It's about a girl named Inga Maria, and she goes to live with her grandmother in Denmark. And I'm guessing she's already from a Scandinavian country, but she goes to live with her grandmother, who is stern at all the trouble she gets into. And I'm really excited. It looks really sweet. I love Pippi. And I love Anne of Green Gables. Can we talk for a second about how sad we are that Gilbert died? Yes. In real life, the actor who played Gilbert in the movies just died. So, rest in peace. I don't know what this is, but it was wrapped up, and I wanted it. It's called The Letter for the King, and it's by Tonke Dracht. And yeah, it says a young messenger, a secret mission, a kingdom in peril. So there are Grey Knights and squires, and a main character's name is Tiuri. Tiuri. So there's a letter, I don't know, and they're knights. So obviously there's a letter, Christina. It's a letter for the king. And the next one is House Arrest by K.A. Holtz. This one I think is, yes, it is signed. About a boy who is under house arrest. And the author liked my hair. Let's be honest, most of the authors liked my hair. This author, I think, used my hair to recognize me from the week before when we were at Teen Book Con. This is Henry Turner's Ask the Dark, and it's about a boy who starts to investigate 2 kidnappings that have happened in his town, and tries to find the kidnapped boys before the murderer kills them. And Henry Turner was at Teen Book Con, and he was awesome, but I didn't really talk to any authors there because that's all about the teens. But I was having lunch, and I was about to leave to go to a panel, and he was eating lunch in the same restaurant. He was like, hey, I met you last week. And I was like, yes! So I went and got his book and got it signed. I'm really excited for that. And I was touched that he remembered me. This one I also got from Publisher Spotlight, and it is the manga adaptation of Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. I don't know if you are in high school or if you've been in high school and you read The Scarlet Letter or you're going through The Scarlet Letter. Many people have different thoughts on it. Some people hate it because Nathaniel Hawthorne's a little hard to get into, and some people love him because he's a little hard to get into, or they don't find him difficult. But this is their new line of classic adaptations. They did Pride and Prejudice. They're doing Emma. They have Les Mis in manga format. And they're doing Great Expectations next, which means, gentle viewers, that one day I will have read all of Great Expectations because I can't get through it. Stacey King, who was at the booth, and I got to talk to her forever. We talked about Steven Universe, and we talked about Buffy, and we talked about the lemur that came over to the booth at one point. She's adapting these. I assume she's doing a great job because we talked about Pride and Prejudice for a while, and she knows her stuff. So, Stacey is awesome. The really cool thing about this is that everything is in black and white except for the Scarlet Letter. And that is just really visually pleasing and just really powerful and really helpful for readers today, like young readers especially. In our culture, adultery is, I mean, it's still a big deal, but it's not as punishable an offense as it was in Puritan times. So having the A be so visible in every scene that it is really shows how Hester is, like, highlighted in her society and how she's shunned that way. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, or rereading it, as it were. TLA was in Austin this year. Right before we left, Amanda Palmer retweeted somebody who was giving up a ticket to a show that she was doing, and I thought, oh, hey, I didn't realize she was touring. I'm gonna look up where she's gonna be. Maybe she'll be in Houston. She's not gonna be in Houston. She was gonna be in Austin on Tuesday, which was the day we were getting to Austin for the conference. And I thought, so I asked people if they wanted to go with me. Several of them did, and so we went and saw Amanda Palmer. And at Amanda Palmer's concert, we bought books. So this is Amanda Palmer's book, The Art of Asking, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Let People Help, which I've been trying to get for the library and we haven't gotten it in yet. So I haven't read it yet. So now I have it, and it's signed by Amanda Palmer. She played alone for 2.5 hours. No opening act, nothing, no intermission. 2.5 hours, and she does not play casually. She plays hardcore. And she's like 4 months pregnant. My sister is also 4 months pregnant, and I live with my sister, and she goes to bed at like 9 o'clock, and I don't blame her because she's growing a person in her person. Amanda Palmer played for 2.5 hours, and then she signed for anybody who wanted to have their books or their shirts or whatever they wanted signed. And she's amazing. She was so good, and she was really nice and very gracious, and I'm really, really looking forward to her book. Okay, last book. This one was a present that Jen got for me. She went and picked it up. She, like, sweet talked the person. This is The Secret History of Wonder Woman. It's by Jill Lepore, and I cannot wait. I mean, it's like out, but this is an uncorrected proof, and I'm psyched. It's beautiful, and I like this cover a lot. And in the inside it says, Wonder Woman, Lepore argues, is the missing link in the history of the struggle for women's rights. A chain of events that begins with the women's suffrage campaigns of the early 1900s and ends with the troubled place of feminism a century later. I'm like, yes. So I'm really excited to read this one as soon as I get a chance. So, okay, that's all the books that I got. And then my last thing that I got, the last book card that I got was Laurie House Anderson Speak, and she was there, and I couldn't be in line with her, but I asked Karen if she'd get my card signed, and I was like, tell her I love her. And so she wrote, I love you too, Steve. Laurie House Anderson. So this is getting framed. So that's it for me and this sort of Throwback Thursday, which is like just throwback to last week in my first book haul video. So thank you for watching. Make sure you do all those nice things you can do on YouTube, like this video, comment below if you've read any of the books that I just got, or if you are looking forward to any of them, or if you're one of my kids, which one of the books you'd like to borrow from me first. Subscribe to the channel, share it. All right, thanks for watching.